To help Canadian employers hire the workers they need, Canada has recently launched a fast-track work permit program in the Philippines. Stay tuned as we will share further details. Hello and welcome to My Consultant, where we give you weekly updates about Canada immigration. We are starting today's episode with IRCC announcing a slowdown in Indian visa applications, followed by the latest ExpressEntry draw and the new intake of foreign-trained physicians by Ontario. Next, I will share about the fast-track work permit program in the Philippines, and Tashina will discuss the new report released by the Auditor General of Canada regarding the backlog status. This episode of My Consultant is brought to you by Scotiabank.
Indian nationals are being advised to prepare themselves for Canadian immigration-related delays. As the current India-Canada diplomatic standoff rages on, the IRCC Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada has confirmed there will be a slowdown in Indian visa applications. The tension escalated after Canada removed 41 of their diplomats from India, following India's decision to strip all but 21 Canadian diplomats and their dependents of their diplomatic immunity in Delhi by October 20th, 2023. As of now, Canada has temporarily suspended visa and in-person consular services in Mumbai, Bengaluru, and Chandigarh. The IRCC has also reduced its workforce in India from 27 to just 5 employees. The 5 Canada-based IRCC staff that will remain in India will focus on work that requires an in-country presence, such as urgent processing, visa printing, risk assessment, and overseeing key partners. While they will continue to accept and process applications from India, the reduced staffing levels are expected to affect processing times. Citizens of India may encounter delays in overall processing, responses to inquiries, as well as visa and passport issuance.
Canada has invited over 1,000 candidates in the most recent ExpressEntry draw. On October 24, 2023, IRCC invited 1,548 candidates in the recent ExpressEntry draw for Provincial Nominee Program candidates. This time, candidates required a minimum comprehensive ranking system, that is CRS score of 776. This draw follows the October 10th results, in which over 3,000 candidates received invitations to apply in an all-program ExpressEntry draw, with a minimum CRS score of 500.
The second intake period for an Ontario assessment program seeking internationally trained family doctors and general practitioners is scheduled to start early January of next year. After its announcement in December 2022, Practice Ready Ontario, or PRO, streamlined the process for internationally trained physicians hoping to practice in Canada's busiest province. Those who either missed that first intake or failed to receive a positive result and have since improved their applications and now meet the requirements are welcome to apply for the upcoming second intake. Intake starts on January 8th, 2024 and will run through March 1st, 2024.
The Government of Canada is helping Canadian employers hire the workers they need to fill the jobs and grow the economy. Canada has recently announced the launch of Can Work Philippines, a pilot program at IRCC's office in Manila. The pilot program is for Canadian employers recruiting in the Philippines and hiring approximately 50 or more people, or for critical occupations such as healthcare, construction, and agri-food. The pilot will streamline work permit processing for eligible Canadian employers and allow them to schedule group appointments for medical examinations and biometrics for potential employees, so that skilled workers from the Philippines can come to Canada. To participate in the program, employers must demonstrate their commitment towards the fair and ethical recruitment guidelines as published by the International Organization for Migration, that is IOM. IRCC is also giving $200,000 to the IOM to support the adoption of fair and ethical recruitment guidelines in the Philippines. The funding will help IOM work with the government of the Philippines, conduct training sessions, and promote the IOM's fair and ethical recruitment due diligence toolkit to the organizations that are either involved or have an interest in the recruiting talent in the Philippines. Immigration accounts for almost all of Canada's labor force growth. Almost 75% of Canada's population growth comes from immigration. By 2030, immigration will represent 30% of Canada's population. The Philippines is the major source of newcomers to Canada. According to the 2021 census report, over 900,000 people of the Philippines origin live in Canada. This new pilot will strengthen the close ties between the two countries while also addressing the labor shortages issues in the Canadian economy.
A new report from Canada's Auditor General warns that while progress has been made, the federal government must improve its management of immigration programs to reduce the permanent residency backlogs. The Auditor General is an officer of Canada's Parliament that aids accountability and oversight by conducting independent financial audits of the federal government's operations. According to the report, immigration officials' mismanagement and changing priorities have contributed to backlogs and longer wait times for some applicants, explaining that most of the delays were being caused by inefficient management practices around applications and managing the inventory. The report shows that despite certain improvements, the length of time some applicants spent in the system increased, especially for refugees and spousal sponsorships from overseas, and that at times the backlog inventory is greater than the immigration level for a given year. In response to the audit report, Immigration Minister Mark Miller said his department has continued to reduce backlogs by digitizing applications, hiring and training new staff, and using automation to increase processing capacity and efficiency. The audit report focused on 8 permanent resident programs under the economic, family and refugee, and humanitarian classes. All these programs remain backlogged by the end of 2022. The Federal Skilled Worker Program fared the worst, with only 3% of applications meeting the 6-month timeline. Canada was also called out for not abiding by the first in, first out method. In other words, the department was finalizing a large number of newer applications ahead of older ones. So in conclusion, what does the Auditor General recommend? It's recommended that the Immigration Department take immediate steps to identify and address differential wait time to support timely processing for all applicants, examine backlog applications to identify and act on processing delays within its control, and prioritize the older backlog applications. Thirdly, provide applicants with a clear expectation of the timeline for a decision. And lastly, improve consistency of application processing times across its offices by matching assigned workloads with available resources. That's all for this week's episode of My Consultant. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to click the bell icon to subscribe to get notified for our latest episodes and posts. For more information on the topics covered in this week's episode, please visit us at myconsultant.ca, where you can contact an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I'm Tashina Thompson.
I am Tina Batra, and we'll see you next week.